You thought love was enough. You believed that patience, sacrifice, and prayer could heal what was broken. But behind every second chance lies a hidden cost, a secret grief that no one sees. You've carried your son's pain like a cross, but now you're drowning in a silence too loud to bear. His relapse, his deceit, his refusal to change. These aren't just disappointments. They're warnings. Do not be yoked together with unbelievers, 2 Corinthians 6 verse 14, echoes louder now. What if loving him means losing yourself? What if enabling becomes sin? The time has come to confront the most shocking truth of all. You remember the beginning, don't you? That fragile hope. That flicker of light in your son's eyes when he asked to live with you again. It felt like a divine sign, a chance to rewrite the past. You saw the broken pieces, but you also saw potential. So you opened the door, and with it, your heart. What you didn't see, what no one told you, was the hidden cost behind that door. A cost that would bleed you slowly, quietly, and completely. At first, the signs were small. He took his meds, smiled more, even made friends. You let yourself believe. Maybe this time it's different. Maybe the healing is real. But darkness doesn't always announce its return. Sometimes it creeps in through familiar places, wearing the face of your own child. That's the part no one prepares you for. The betrayal that feels like love, the madness that hides behind moments of normalcy. You thought boundaries would be enough. You prayed, you counseled, you sacrificed your home, your finances, your peace. But he chose the familiar chains: drugs, alcohol, denial. Again. Like a cruel ritual repeating itself. Each relapse wasn't just a setback. It was a revelation, a warning. And each time, you tried harder, loved deeper, gave more. But he gave less. Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. Proverbs 4 verse 23. But how do you guard your heart from your own son? How do you admit that the one you've tried to rescue is now the one sinking you? Here's the truth no one dares speak. Sometimes, love looks like letting go. Sometimes the enemy isn't just outside. It's the chaos you've allowed in, disguised as compassion. And now, the mystery begins to unravel. Maybe this wasn't about his healing after all. Maybe this has always been about yours. You are standing at a crossroad again. But this time it's not about him. It's about you. Will you ignore the warnings? Or will you finally see the pattern for what it is? Not a test of love, but a call to wisdom? The beginning was never what it seemed. And neither is the end. You told yourself he was getting better. You clung to every small improvement like it was a miracle, because it had to be. He got up on time. He washed his clothes. He smiled during dinner. You even dared to imagine a future, a job, a friend group, maybe even stability. But behind those tiny wins was something darker, something hidden. The illusion of progress is one of the enemy's cruelest tricks, just enough light to blind you from the shadows growing underneath. He fooled you, but maybe more painfully, you fooled yourself. You saw him holding a gecko like it was a sign of responsibility, but you didn't see the recklessness hiding behind it. You celebrated the way he managed his money, until you discovered it had all vanished into smoke and distraction. You hoped the medication would stick, but you didn't see him slipping back into secrecy, isolating, hiding bottles, calling Ubers to dispensaries in the dark. There were warnings. Always warnings. A lie here. An excuse there. Silence that lasted too long. But love made you deaf to danger. You wanted so badly to believe that your son was returning, that the boy you raised was still inside the man who now stares past you with hollow eyes. They have eyes to see but do not see, and ears to hear but do not hear, for they are a rebellious people. Ezekiel 12 verse 2. That verse isn't just about him anymore. It's about you. You didn't want to see. You didn't want to hear. You let the illusion feed your faith, instead of letting truth lead your steps. But now the illusion is breaking. His hygiene, once a source of pride, has decayed. His room, once a place of peace, now reeks of neglect. The structure you built, the treatment you arranged, the housemates you trusted, all eroded by one man's refusal to choose life. You thought you were building a future, but you were patching up a sinking ship. This is not healing. This is delay. And delay is dangerous when your soul is bleeding. The illusion has lifted. And what lies beneath is the hardest truth yet. Progress built on denial is not progress, it's deception. You didn't lose control all at once. It unraveled slowly, almost imperceptibly, like a thread slipping through your fingers while you told yourself you still held the whole rope. At first, it was just small defiance. He came home later than agreed. He ignored simple requests. But then one day, the county took away his conserved status. Just like that, the thin line of authority you fought so hard to maintain vanished. And with it, your ability to protect, not just him, but yourself. He knew what he was doing. That's the part that stings the most. He ensured his SSI money came directly to him. He used it on things he was warned against. Reckless purchases, fleeting comforts, substances that spiraled him into deeper isolation. You watched from the outside, helpless, like a bystander at the scene of a slow-motion crash. Your voice, once a source of reason, now barely echoed in his world. You had a system. Agreements. Boundaries. Safety nets. But he dismantled each one like they were suggestions, not lifelines. And still, you tried to hold ground, even when the ground itself was crumbling. The house you modified for his healing, the AD you built for your own refuge. It all became part of a battleground, where your authority was mocked and tested every day. A servant pampered from youth will turn out to be insolent. Proverbs 29 verse 21. You've come to understand this verse in a way no sermon ever explained. It's not just about spoiling, it's about sacrifice given without surrender. Love without boundaries. Mercy without accountability. It's a hidden danger, a silent killer of authority. And now, you feel it in your bones, the exhaustion, the rage, the futility. You're not just parenting a mentally ill adult. You're fighting for your right to set limits in your own home. You're fighting to not become invisible in the very place you bled to build. This isn't just about him anymore. It's about a system that empowered him to ignore every warning and made you the villain for caring too much. Your authority didn't disappear in one moment. It was stolen, piece by piece, while you were busy saving a drowning man who refused to swim. And now the question presses harder than ever. Who will you be when you are no longer in control, not even of your own peace? You thought love meant never giving up. That if you just held on tighter, prayed harder, showed more grace, the story would finally turn. But somewhere along the way, love twisted into something unrecognizable. It became silence when there should have been truth. Tolerance when there should have been boundaries. Mercy where there should have been wisdom. And now, what once felt like unconditional love feels more like a quiet prison you built with your own hands. It's a shocking realization that your compassion may be part of the problem. You let him stay. You forgave again. You overlooked warning signs for the sake of peace. But peace built on denial is not peace. It's delay. And now, every day you let him continue in this spiral, something sacred in you slips away. He signed an agreement. No substances. You thought that would be the line he wouldn't cross. But he crossed it. Again. Bought alcohol. Hid it. Drank it. Lied. Then took an Uber to a dispensary like nothing mattered. And when you confronted him, there was no remorse. No accountability. Just more silence. More secrecy. And that's when it hit you. Not only is he unwilling to change, but he's also using your love as a shield to keep destroying himself. Do not be a fool. Why die before your time? Ecclesiastes 7 verse 17. This verse rings louder now, not just for him, but for you. Because enabling is slow spiritual suicide. It kills your clarity. It erodes your courage. It steals your joy. And worst of all, it teaches him that consequences are optional, that destruction is tolerable if it's hidden well enough. You see the contrast more clearly now. The housemates, kind, respectful, present. Then your son, isolated, chaotic, manipulative. It's no longer about mental illness. It's about choice. He has been given every tool, every resource, every chance. But he chooses the dark every time. And you? You've been caught in the illusion that love means standing beside him no matter what. But now you see the truth. Love without truth is not love. Grace without discipline is not grace. and what you've called mercy may have become permission for him to slowly self-destruct. The warning is clear. If you don't step back now, you may lose not only him, but yourself. You've reached the edge, not just of your patience, but of something deeper, your soul's threshold. You've prayed, wept, pleaded, hoped. You've done everything a mother could do, and then more. But now there's a stillness, one that doesn't come from defeat, but from clarity. A holy silence, like the breath right before a storm breaks. Because this is not just a crisis. This is a turning point. A line in the sand that can no longer be blurred by guilt or grief. You are not abandoning him. You are releasing what was never yours to carry forever. You are surrendering the illusion that your love can save someone who refuses to be saved. The truth has been knocking for years, but now it pounds like a divine warning. You shall know them by their fruits. Matthew 7 verse 16. And the fruit of this journey after everything is not peace, not growth, not healing, but chaos, lies, and a soul refusing to rise. Disowning your child feels unthinkable. It goes against everything you were taught, everything you've believed. But what if this isn't disowning at all? What if it's releasing, letting go of control, of enabling, of the weight that was never meant to be yours? What if it's the most honest act of love left? You will grieve. You already are. But you will also heal. Because finally, you are choosing truth over illusion, sanity over chaos, wisdom over fear, and most of all, freedom over false hope. This is not the ending you wanted, but it may be the only one that can give birth to something new. God sees. God knows. And he whispers now, not with judgment, but with compassion. Come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Matthew 11 verse 28. This is your rest. Not in bitterness, not in blame, but in brave surrender. You are not walking away from your son. You are walking toward yourself, toward peace, toward light. And maybe, just maybe, that's where true redemption begins.